Hello, friends. This is Sam Cheney reporting for Weaponized News. Today, May 8th, 2025. I think Rumble, the regular integration, is working. It's like lagging, though. I did run a test, and it appeared to be working, but it's lagging like a minute and 90 seconds behind or something. Anyway, hopefully it's working so we can see your great comments in the chat. In the chat over here. We do have special guest Denver on the line with us, so I don't want to keep him hanging in the green room too long here in our virtual studio. So let me get right to it. We do have a new pope for those Catholics out there. I'm not Catholic, but I do appreciate the Catholics out there, especially for their pro-life stance. But this pope, I don't know, is he a woke pope? Is he a Republican pope? Does American politics really even matter to the pope? I don't think it does, honestly. But of course, your normal shills out there are going to try to leverage it for their advantage, for clicks and the like out there. I think he probably actually owes his allegiance to the Vatican. So he's actually probably like he's definitely dual citizen with Peru. He's probably a tri-citizen with the Vatican as well and America. So at the end of the day, he obviously owes his allegiance to the Vatican and not Peru and not America. But all the shills out there in Conservative Inc. and the rest of these clowns on the internet, look at his Republican voting record. Really? Really? Anyway, we got that. I guess he has pro-life stuff, he says. He has other woke stuff, he says. So we got to wait and see. A lot of people are saying he's just going to carry on with the same agenda as Pope Francis. I don't know. I wanted the black pope, honestly. So then if we liked them, they could say we're racist, right? I wanted to have that, but we can't even have that, a black pope. So we got this guy. We'll go over that. What else do we got today? Quite a bit, actually, considering it's a Thursday. The White House has unveiled the new Barbara Bush stamp. And so we do appreciate the alleged daughter of Aleister Crowley, their Barbara Bush, being put on a U.S. postage stamp. Pretty sick and demented, but America wouldn't have it any other way, would we? Biden's still alive, apparently. His drone clone robot guy wearing a mask. This may very well be Biden. I don't know. Some guy claiming he's Biden, halfway looking like Biden has appeared on The View. And so we got some clips of that nonsense. If you could stomach it. What else? The comings and goings of the corrupt governmental inner fighting. Some reportings on that. Kash Patel, FBI director, testifying. He says that Epstein did kill himself. Says Epstein hung himself. So there you go for your great, white hat conservative warrior Kash Patel, who's going to arrest all the bad guys and wring out all that conspiracy. Turns out, yeah, he's an establishment hack, just like all the rest of them. But we'll see. We'll see how it sorts out. I'm not holding my breath here. A big trade deal was announced today with UK and America, of course. India, too, by the way. I've been noticing India's racking up some trade deals. They made a trade deal with China yesterday, today with Iran. So India's not sitting back and in the midst of the potential full-out war between India and Pakistan. We got updated reporting on that today. What's going on? Yeah, the Trump effect. This is not the win that the Trump administration thinks it is. The Trump effect, the press secretary, blonde Barbie says, Gilead boosts planned U.S. investment by $11 billion amid tariff threat. Gilead, the maker of remdesivir, amongst other wonderful drugs. So until they answer that question about the hospital protocols, then all these people are lying scum. And they're not going to, because they're all implicated in the crime. So there's that. It looks like our Rumble is back up. I can see you guys in the chat. Howdy to Ruckus and Gunther. Shout out to you guys. We're back up on the Rumble. Good news. Okay, continuing. Trump has pulled his nomination for U.S. Surgeon General and put up one of these fake Maha people. So we got that. We got Bill Gates. Bill Gates is accusing Elon Musk of killing children when they're all in this transhumanist. I don't know. Elon Musk puts out the opposite rhetoric, right? Elon Musk does say that we have to address the declining birth rates. So he has more pro-human rhetoric, but we know that he's a transhumanist technocrat, oligarch. And then on the other side of the coin, the good liberal, right? So they play good cop, bad cop, conservative Republican, Coke, Pepsi, whatever. We always have to have this dialectic going on here of lies. And so Bill Gates has accused Elon Musk of killing poor kids because he's cut off the USAID. But Bill Gates' whole mission in life is eugenics depopulation, and that's the reason that he was put in the position that he's in by IBM, Rockefellers, and others. He wasn't, and the government. He didn't invent Microsoft Windows in his freaking garage. I'm sorry to tell everybody out there if you didn't already know. He's put in there to keep the eugenics program going all the time, posing as a world-saving philanthropist. It's honestly, it's disgusting, but that's the game they play here now. And so, but we still need to wrap our mind around the concept. There's no good guys in this game. Elon Musk's not a good guy. Bill Gates is not a good guy. I know it's hard. We want to have our heroes, but we need to grasp these concepts where they're playing the dialectic against us here. Coke, Pepsi, Republican, Democrat, and so on. And many people love the tribalism and to play into it. And we got to have a hero, somebody to come save the day. And it's just not the case with these people. I'm sorry to report to you here. We got some news coming out of China. They're going to have, China is hosting in August the 2025 World Humanoid Robot Games. That shall be exciting. Maybe can load up some fake bats inside of these robots and send them around the world. I don't know. We seem to have real problems last time. We had a world military games there out of China, for those that can remember that. But these are robots now. So we're getting the scientific dictatorship dystopian future is accelerating as we move toward 2030. What else do we got? Big meetings in Russia with China. And we do have audio of Putin saying, as the headline says, we're seeing a new just world order take place. As we continue to report, the shift away from U.S. hegemony into a multipolar world is indeed happening. Reports about that. Apparently, it's being reported there's been a falling out, a tiff between Trump and our shadow president, Bibi. I don't believe it, but that's what's being reported out there on the interwebs. Apparently, there's been a big falling out after, and maybe part of this is Trump saying that we're no longer bombing Yemen. I don't know. The pieces are kind of coming together, but I'll still never believe that that there's this falling out. Maybe Trump's finally starting to realize that the aardvark genocide is beyond the pale, and you backing it, you're going to be lumped in with them, and you don't want that on you. Maybe he's finally starting to realize that the rest of the world can see it, except for here in idiot America, where the majority apparently love it. But the rest of the world sees it, and maybe Trump finally figured it out, that he doesn't want his name tied to this whole genocide. And so don't you worry. Aardvarks are bombing Gaza. They're bombing Lebanon. It's full on, full on genocide there. Still today, like every other day. So all of that and much more on this Thursday edition of Weaponized News. Again, we have Denver waiting in the wings. Let me get to this day in history, and we'll bring them on and get through all this news for you. And we have some medical reporting at the end to do that won't be on the YouTube, because we're not the experts that are consistently wrong about everything. We've actually been right about everything in our reporting, and that's against community guidelines on YouTube, so they can't hear our reports. We'll honor their wishes, and you can listen to the garbage they have on there where they were consistently wrong about everything, but they still have giant channels. So keep on listening to that. On May 8th, in the year 1792, the United States establishes the military draft. We just thought of a workaround. I just thought of a workaround, my wife and I, for our son to not be drafted. He's just going to claim he's transgender. And then they won't draft him because transgenders are no longer allowed in the U.S. military. So there you go. They threw us a bone, and we're going to take it. And so I'd rather have my son claim he's transgender than have his arms and legs blown off. So there you have it. Thank you very much for that. Just throwing it out there. And who's to say that he can't claim he's transgender on any given day, on any hour, minute, second of any day? How dare you be a bigot against gender identity? In the year 1812, U.S. passes the first foreign aid bill, going all the way back to 1812 now, because we're cutting some foreign aid. Elon Musk is killing poor children, according to Bill Gates. So how far we've come here. In 1812, U.S. passes first foreign aid bill authorizing up to $50,000 to assist victims of the Caracas, Venezuelan earthquake on March 26th. We should mind our own damn business. Sorry about your earthquake problems. We got enough problems here. You see where foreign aid went to. You see where it goes. Funding the overthrow, color revolutions, destabilization campaigns, mass miracle campaigns, on and on and on, with the horror that USAID brought upon the world, funded by U.S. tax money. Damn shame. In 1846, we saw the first major battle of the Mexican-American War fought in Palo Alto, Texas, on this day. In 1886, Jacobs Pharmacy in Atlanta sells the first Coca-Cola, and indeed, it did contain cocaine, the good Coca-Cola. In 1944, I'm sure Ruckus will appreciate this, 33 communist resistor fighters sentenced to death. In 1945, the big day, the EVE Day, Victory Day, essentially, officially, Nazi Germany surrenders to the Allied powers. On this day in 1945, there are big celebrations all over Europe, in Russia. So, yeah, we beat Russia in World War II. Wait a minute, no. Russia beat the Nazis in World War II, and we're actually allies with Russia in World War II. Who would have known? I don't know. And Germany bombed Pearl Harbor, right? No, it was actually Japan. But it turns out with these man on the street interviews you see out there, it's scary what the man on the street thinks. I don't know if these are setups or what, but there's a bunch of them. People literally don't know your basic history. like who we allegedly defeated in World War II and who bombed Pearl Harbor. Just saying. So, but it is a great day, even though many of these Nazis fled to America, Operation Paperclip, and other operations, and fled to South America to live out their lives and carry on cloning eugenics experiments into their old age. And so that is much appreciated. How many people, I think there was like 12 off the top of my head, got convicted at Nuremberg for war crimes against humanity there. So kind of a big show, not really much big results there. In 1967, on this day, Muhammad Ali is indicted for refusing induction into the U.S. military, into the U.S. Army. That's good for Muhammad Ali. In 1980, the World Health Organization announces smallpox has been eradicated. Well, where would we be without the World Health Organization? Everybody would have smallpox, right? And then fast forwarding here, I did not know this, and it doesn't sound right, but it's the official history here. Last year in 2024, New York has more millionaires than any other city in the world. I believe that part, but then they say 1 in 24 in New York City are millionaires, according to this official history, with 744 centimillionaires worth more than $100 million and 60 billionaires, according to new rankings last year in New York City. 1 in 24? I don't know. Maybe. And then, of course, this year today, Cardinal Robert Prevost, age 69, is elected as the 267th Pope of the Catholic Church, the first American / Peruvian / Venetian to hold the office, takes the name of Pope Leo the XIV. What is that? 10. What is that? The 16th, I think. Is it XIV the 16th? I got to work on my Roman numerals. Okay, here's the segue for Denver, and then we're going to get to all the news for you. Sorry for the long intro there, Denver. Leaving you on hold. I didn't even check the time. Okay, here's the segue. We played a clip last week of fourth PSYOP group, Ghost in the Machine Part 1. This is fourth PSYOP group, Ghost in the Machine Part 2, Army Propaganda.
There are many people in the world who really don't understand. Freedom has many difficulties, but we have never had to put a wall up to keep our people in. Freedom is indivisible. And when one man is enslaved, all are not free.
Modern war has become a struggle for men's minds as well as for their bodies. Today we face an enemy who spends enormous sums of money and manpower all over the globe in an attempt to subvert the thinking of the people of the free world, to confuse, divide, and ultimately to subjugate.
It is a contest unlike any we have ever faced in our history as a nation.
Contest for the minds and hearts of people around the world, all people.
When power corrupts, poetry cleanses. We must never forget that art is not a form of propaganda. It is a form of truth.
Psychologists find that control of emotions can be gained by understanding the stimulus-response pattern. Many everyday things become associated with these primary stimuli, partly by a process called conditioning.
It's a strange, shadowy world. The doctored photograph, the misquotation, the insinuation, and the lie.
I think of fire in connection with emotion. Cause, effect.
You've got to get a hold of yourself.
But we have to work together. You have to help.
We'll light our country and all who serve it. And the glow from that fire can truly light the world.
Yes, in modern warfare, our military leaders are finding that words and ideas are highly effective weapons.
We have Denver interweb researcher extraordinaire. Here he is. Denver, how you doing this Thursday?
Doing well, doing well. I want to see what the price tag was on that movie promo we just
Does that
watched.
inspire you to want to join the 4th Brigade of the Army PSYOP Division?
Oh man, I'm just curious what Doge would like put that price tag at. I mean, I'm gonna guess like $3 billion or so.
It's very highly produced, fancy video there, right?
Oh, it was fancy, all right. It was super fancy.
But that's they don't even hide it. They're telling us. But supposedly they're on our side. They're the good guys, and we're the good guys. America's the good guys, apparently. That's
Totally.
So they tell us.
No, there was no inversion there at all.
So we got the. Do we have video of the? We do. Here's the. Let's go to this. The white smoke, and so the Vatican has no problem polluting the planet here to celebrate the new pope. Where's the climate outrage? I think this new pope is actually pro climate change. So I mean, he should be outraged that they're even still doing this arcane ceremony, letting off this exhaust, polluting the atmosphere with a bird right next to the smokestack. Let's watch this. This is the signal to all the followers that they've elected a new pope. Nobody there cared about that bird breathing in all that exhaust. What's going on here?
Yeah, I just want to say I'm totally outraged because I can no longer find the Mr. Show skit where it's of the Pope playing as OJ escaping in the white Bronco, and they find like the Pope hat and like the Pope cane. And I just feel like it would be perfect to air right now in commemoration of the new Pope coming in. But I've looked everywhere.
Watch your mic. Watch your mic. It's scraping on your collar there.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, all the
There
Pope
you go.
news has completely blotted out to where that just no longer exists anymore. I haven't been able to go through all the Mr. Show episodes to find exactly the moment in the exact episode where that was. But oh my God, I want to show it right now.
Is this new Pope Leo? They told me in the chat. Thanks for correcting me, guys. I should know XIV's 14. That's the gang symbol up here for the Norteño Mexican gang. They're the red in they stands for Northern California, and they are the XIV. So I should have known that 14th Pope Leo. The chat there corrected me, so thank you. And they're saying that I don't know who won World War II. I was trying to make a joke about the man on the street, but I think our chat's lagging there a little bit. I think there were no, but the whole thing, there's a narrative too. I don't know if you've seen it, Denver, that Hitler and the Nazis were the good guys, actually. And I'm like, they weren't the good guys either. I'm sorry to tell you.
Yeah. I heard Hitler was like at a 40% approval rating currently or something like that.
just because the freaking aardvarks are so bad doesn't mean that whoever was mean to them is good.
That's right.
But people, like I say, we have to be in this dialectic, it seems, right? Want good, bad, Coke, Pepsi, and everybody pick a side and fight like hell. And the oligarchs are sitting up there laughing about the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just people like to believe simple narratives. I guess I don't know if we've transcended to the point to where they can just, fabricate reality with your, your social media and Twitter and server farms and bots and everything else. But I mean, if you think back to before the Biden election, I mean, that guy wasn't popular. Somehow he won, and I see a lot of people pretty mad at Trump now on all sides, for the freedom issues, economic issues aside. And, the tariffs probably could have been implemented a little bit better, to not send businesses completely reeling or out of business who have their supply chains intertwined with sourcing from China.
We'll get to that. We'll get to the economic news. More of the show at the Vatican. They do put on quite a show there. This is the Swiss Guard, the private army of the Pope.
Switzerland, oh boy. Home of CERN, home of the Red Cross, home of the UN, home of the Bank of International Settlements.
The good guys. Pope,
the neutral guys, the guys who were just neutral, They
don't want to cause any problems. They don't want to start none. They don't want any. Pope Leo the 14th, a Villanova University alumni. So he graduated from Villanova here in America. He's elected the first American, but they leave this out. He's also a dual citizen of Peru.
Huh.
And so they've left that part out here, but it is confirmed. I don't know. Maybe CNN's lying and it's fake news. I don't think they would lie about the Pope being a dual citizen, but they go on. CNN says he spent much of his career as a missionary in South America and holds dual citizenship in the United States and Peru, where he served as a bishop. He most recently led a powerful Vatican office for bishop appointments. He is expected to build on Pope Francis's reforms. So very exciting there for the Catholics.
Oh yeah, major day.
Do we have video of him? I think I had video of his. Yeah, here's right from the Vatican. Let's play this short clip, and then we'll move on from the Pope, since we're not even Catholic here. Here's the video of the Pope addressing the people.
Annuncio vobis gaudium magnum. Habemus papam. Eminentissimum, ac reverendissimum Dominum, Dominum Robertum Franciscum Sancte Romane.
Well, there's enough of that. Was he speaking Latin? We had no translation. That's right from the Vatican. So I guess they didn't see fit to translate into English for the American Peruvian Pope. Okay, quickly.
Quickly. Nothing important for the Americans to hear there, I suppose.
Everything you need to know about the Pope. Born in Chicago on September 14th, 1955. His father was a U.S. Navy veteran, fought in World War II. His mother was a librarian. He completed his secondary studies at the Major Seminary of Order of St. Augustine before earning his Bachelor's of Science in Mathematics at Villanova University. Prevost speaks multiple languages, including English, Spanish, Italian, French, and Portuguese. Probably throw Latin in there too. He spent much of his career in Peru, serving as a missionary and seminary teacher. He was appointed by Pope Francis in 2023 to recommend bishop nominations. We covered that. He is the first American-born pope in history. Prevost has shared pro-immigration posts on his X account in the past. He opposes the promotion of gender ideology because it is confusing, because it seeks to create genders that don't exist. He previously called out Western news media for fostering sympathy for beliefs and practices that are at odds with the gospel. He specifically called out the rainbow lifestyle and alternative families comprised of the same partners, same-sided partners, and their adopted children. So he's kind of a mixed bag. He calls out some wokeness, but then is on board with other wokeness. So I don't know. I guess we got to wait and see.
I guess as God's man on earth, you got to walk a delicate line, you know.
Well, is he going to start, arresting all of the child molesters in the Catholic Church? That instead of reassigning them and because they bust them all the time, these priests that are touching little kids and messing with little kids, and then they're like, oh yeah, they just reassign them somewhere to I don't know, some island, and they go and carry on their child molesting ways again. Instead of, and so there's story after story after story of this happening. Is this Pope going to put his foot down and say, I have had enough of covering up for child molesting priests? I don't know. We shall see.
I'm sure he'll have his own PR ploys, that they all have.
What did Donald Trump have to say about it? Let's take a look. Trump wanted to be Pope, but apparently he's not Catholic. The first American Pope. So America first. Trump's proud about that. Congratulations to Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost, who was just named Pope. It is such an honor to realize that he is the first American Pope. What excitement and what a great honor for our country. I look forward to meeting Pope Leo XIV. It will be a very meaningful moment. So Trump's excited about it.
Yeah. Prevost, not to be confused with your bursar or provost at a college.
Let's see. Okay, enough about the Pope. Congratulations, Catholics. I hope he does you right. Like I said, until he starts arresting all the child molesters in the Catholic Church, I wouldn't hold my breath. And he's got to answer to God like all the rest of us. So have a good one, new Pope. Here's the aforementioned Barbara Bush stamp. I know everybody was holding their breath and it's probably going to put these in their stamp collection. The White House announced today the new forever Barbara Bush stamp. And so who doesn't want this in their stamp collection, Denver?
Oh, man, I hope it has her number and jersey from when she played linebacker for the Chicago Bears.
Oh,
that's a joke, of course.
Talk about the Bush family, evil family. And so we honor them by putting them on a stamp. Isn't that wonderful?
What a looker.
You'd think that George Bush could have done better. I don't know. Some kind of eugenics occult thing going on there with him. Okay, Biden is still alive. Surprisingly, let's take a look at Biden on The View here. He says the reason America voted for Trump and not Kamala is sexism.
Oh yeah, let's watch Biden wind up his fastball here.
But then election night came, and it was like 2016 all over again. Yeah. So why do you think the vice president lost, and were you surprised?
I wasn't surprised, not because I didn't think the vice president was the most qualified person to be president. She is. She's qualified to be president of the United States of America. But I was surprised. I wasn't surprised because they went the route of the sexist route, the whole route. I mean, this is a woman, she's this, she's that. I mean, it really, I've never seen quite as successful and a consistent campaign undercutting the notion that a woman couldn't lead the country, and a woman of mixed race.
Yeah.
And they played that to a fairly well. In addition.
Yeah, she's so smart. She's really wonderful.
Was that part of? I don't think that really was that much of part of the campaign. Honestly, they just let her talk, and she was a bumbling idiot.
Yeah, and like how much of what her $1 billion that she raised for her campaign just kind of like went missing, or
and
like
she did have this
spent and money laundered.
And she couldn't hold. She couldn't keep staff. There was continuing reports about staff turnover because she was such a horrible person to work for. I don't think that they were racist and sexist against her. They just realized she's a bitch. You know what I mean?
It's almost like she was put in to lose.
Almost like a ringer.
Almost
like a ringer with all the other Democrats out there at that point in time in history. That she would be put out there as a ringer to throw the election to Trump.
And launder some money.
And they did steal a whole lot of money.
Yeah, man.
Trump to end Biden-era program to bridge digital divide. So the Trump administration has, I guess now the new line is they're going to cut internet for poor people. The Digital Equity Act is being cut. The Digital Equity Act is a racist and illegal $2.5 billion giveaway, according to the Trump administration. And so they're cutting that. And so now poor minorities will not have internet access. Thank you very much, Trump.
Yeah. The that money probably needs to be spent on a tank tread. That'll be on a tank that gets driven into a ditch and lit aflame in Ukraine. So
maybe maybe invest it in one of these F-18 Hornets and park it in the Red Sea.
Yeah, or an F-35, which will do the same thing.
Acting FEMA head fired a day after he testified against closing the agency. And so what are we going to do without a FEMA head? The move comes just before the start of hurricane season, ABC News tells us. So what are we going to do when FEMA denies Republican aid in disaster relief? I don't know what we're going to do. But
what will we do without FEMA to get in the way and keep people from being able to rebuild their homes?
Carmen Hamilton, who had been acting administrator at FEMA, was fired today, a day after telling Congress the agency should not be disbanded. Well, hell yeah, fire them and everybody else in FEMA. Disband FEMA now. That could be a good thing that Trump does. Ninth Circuit denies Elizabeth Holmes' request for rehearing. So remember her with her old fake blood testing company? Don't you worry, there's a lot bigger fish than her, but her fraud was just too much for everyone to take. Former Theranos CEO her appeal failed today. It was heard before the Ninth Circuit, and the Ninth Circuit unanimously denied a request by her to appeal her 2022 fraud conviction. So she's going to be staying in jail for a while there. I know it's sad.
Very sad indeed.
Is this the retribution we've been about from Trump? FBI opens formal criminal probe into New York Attorney General Loretta James over alleged mortgage fraud. kind of the same claim they made against Trump there in New York, for those that can remember, claiming that he overstated his asset value on his loan documents. And so they're kind of boomeranging it back around on her and saying, no, that actually she's the one committing mortgage fraud. So it shall be interesting to see how that plays out in New York.
Yeah, let's not forget. I think Joe Biden took out something like he refinanced his mortgage like 30 times or something. That's like some kind of record.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. Something like that. So they're all, but it's standard to overstate your assets. And the bank, the lender didn't say anything was wrong with it. So therefore there was no crime. It was literally made up by the state. The bank that lent them the money, that is Trump, they said everything was fine. So, I mean, it was literally made up by New York. Okay, what are we going to do here with Kash Patel, Mr. White Hat, Savior, MAGA, the greatest patriot in American history? But he says that Epstein did hang himself. Let's go to this clip. During Senate testimony. So he's on board with the official narrative now. I thought he was a big truther, Q, savior of the world, white hat guy. Turns out not so much.
Did Jeffrey Epstein hang himself or did somebody kill him?
Senator, I believe he hung himself in a cell in the Metropolitan Detention Center.
Are you going to release all the information about that?
Senator, we are working through that right now with the Department of Justice.
When you think you'll have it done, Cash?
I think in the near future, sir.
Like before I die?
Senator, we've been working on that, and we're doing it in a way that protects victims and also doesn't put out into the ether information that is irrelevant for production of the public, such as CSAM.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Reid.
There you go. Epstein did kill himself, according to Kash Patel. Total establishment status quo hack, as you could see. But he was raving about it. I'm ending the FBI. I'm exposing everything. Blah, blah, blah. Turns out, nah, he's just another government yes man.
Yeah, it's like reminds me of the whole like service after sale kind of dynamic, you know.
Sorry, MAGA, but there you have it. Epstein killed himself, are you going to give us more information about it? Well, all the cameras were allegedly off at that time, so there is no other information about it, really. Maybe you get testimony from prison guards. I don't know, but what other information is there? That's the official story. Case closed. The FBI director says so, and Epstein did kill himself, apparently.
That's right. That's right. Cash, blink twice if you have a gun and a laser pointed at your head right now.
Okay, economic news. Ukraine's parliament has approved the U.S. mineral deal in full. 338 MPs voted to ratify the agreement granting the U.S. priority access to Ukraine's natural resources. That's literally the last thing that we need, because now Ukraine could do a false flag, Russia could do a real attack, and then now we're going to be all tied back up in it again here. And so that's literally the last thing we needed, but it's what we're going to get. And so there's going to be U.S. interest in Ukrainian mineral production. And so we're right still in the thick of it there. Not good, in my opinion. What do you think about this?
Oh, we definitely needed those not rare earths from Ukraine. When I was discussing this with a very, very partisan but very successful investor that I know personally, he was like, "Hey, you got to give it to Ukraine. They were able to get this deal for themselves." I'm just like, do you really think this is all happening in a vacuum of like Ukraine and the United States? Like that's all you really see going on there. Yeah, it's funny because you look at lists, which there's some contradictory lists out there. Some lists have Ukraine signing their memorandums of understanding to join the Chinese Belt and Road on December 1st, 2017. And then you look at Wikipedia, they're not on that list. So, draw your own conclusion there. But I remember us being a part of kind of like a NATO-oriented soft coup in 2014. We've essentially had our hands all over Ukraine, been highly involved in the guiding of that nation to this point. And they also, you've got some lists of them. There's one I can give you, or anybody can just Google Countries of the Belt and Road Initiative, or BRI. You'll find an updated list as of February 14th, 2025. It's 144 to 149 nations, including China. That's the Green Finance and Development Center, greenfdc.org, and you'll find a list of a whole bunch of nations there. Many U.S. allies, many nations that are like basically U.S. vassals, like Micronesia, who generally vote along with Israel and the United States, on a bunch of like controversial measures. They're BRI though, kind of interesting. Just one of those things, I suppose.
Almost like they're all working together here behind the scenes, or not even really behind the scenes. If you just peel back one little thin layer, you can see them all working behind the scenes together. Okay, yeah. The big news here is today, economically speaking, is the UK has agreed to a trade deal with America. Trump was bragging about it. The White House says the historic U.S.-UK trade deal will unlock $5 billion in export opportunities while strengthening national security. A good deal for America. And here's their little infographic. What do you think of this?
Oh, it's always a good deal.
It's always the greatest deal ever.
Oh man, you know it.
Good deal. See, they even put it on their infographic.
It's at the top. They didn't bold it. They could have bolded it, but it definitely says good deal. So, hey, what's the question?
Good deal. Increase in exports, $5 billion. New market access, allegedly to the UK. $6 billion increase in external revenue, tariff revenue, and 1.8% decrease from 5.1% UK tariffs, allegedly unprecedented access to UK market. So we'll see. We'll see how that sorts out. Here is the Fabian Socialist, too, by the way, Keir Starmer there. Trump says the U.S. and UK share a special relationship, one like no other, passed down through the centuries. Oh, we know. Oh, we know, Trump. We do know that.
It's interesting. I'm not sure, around right before Christmas, the UK became the first nation to join what was formerly known as the Trans-Pacific Partnership. I've told you about this, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first non-Pacific nation to join this Pacific Rim trade arrangement, which the USA essentially built to contain China. Of course, China is someone who a nation that is also applied to join, kind of waiting in the wings to join. So there's an argument to be made, that as a potential nation to join, and also the nation with the largest purchasing power parity on the planet, all those other nations, they certainly want to sell into the nations which offer them the greatest potential going forward, most market potential, so on and so forth. So, hey, it's really kind of interesting to look at the UK. I think, you know, they might be potential vanguard for kind of building that super continent arrangement of, you know, kind of the neck bone connects to the wrist bone and the wristwatch, however the song goes from The Simpsons or whatever. But, you know, it's almost like they're all between BRI and BRICS and the comprehensive progressive Trans-Pacific Partnership. See, it's just not the Trans-Pacific Partnership now, it's the comprehensive progressive Trans-Pacific Partnership. See, it didn't go away. What happened was, see, Canada and Oceania became the negotiating chair nations of that trade agreement now. But they're totally, you know, opposed to one another and everything. You know, they're not all working in lockstep or anything. Certainly not. No way.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
The Greater Eurasian Partnership as well. That that Simon bangs on about. So, yeah, but they're definitely foes, and we need to keep up that boogeyman. Let's hear from Trump at the signing of the UK trade deal. It's wonderful and great.
This morning, I'm thrilled to announce that we have reached a breakthrough trade deal with.
That wasn't good. We had something else playing. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good.
Sorry.
I was like,
that.
oh, this has got some catchy tunes to it.
It's got some beats. No, actually, that was something else playing. Here's Trump again. Sorry about that. Oh, we had audio.
Huh.
Did I mute it? There we go. Sorry about that. One more time. Third time's the charm.
This morning, I'm thrilled to announce that we have reached a breakthrough trade deal with the United Kingdom. Incredible country. Today is a victory day for World War II. We won the war together exactly 80 years ago, so there could be no more perfect morning to reach this historic agreement. And it's beautiful weather out. I will tell you that, Keir. Beautiful weather. It's so perfect outside. But it's really, in particular, the agreement with one of our closest and most cherished allies. And we're so happy that that's the way it worked out. I want to thank Prime Minister Starmer and his very talented team for their outstanding work and partnership. Today's agreement with the UK is the first in a series of agreements on trade that my administration has been negotiating over the past 4 weeks. With this deal, the UK joins the United States in affirming that reciprocity and fairness is an essential and vital principle of international trade.
The chat says, what is UK going to trade with US? Muslims, jeets, and kebabs. I don't know about that.
And Cornish pasties. Don't forget the Cornish pasties.
And then Highland, I think, is he in Scotland? I think Ireland's in Scotland, maybe. He says whiskey. Yeah, maybe some whiskey. I don't know. Mutton? I don't know. How about psyops and propaganda and mind control? How about that?
And yeah, Five Eyes, you know, intelligence, all that kind of stuff.
Not the win that MAGA thinks it is, or the Trump administration. The Trump effect. Gilead boasts planned U.S. investments by $11 billion amid tariff threat. And so the blonde Barbie press secretary woman, Levette, posted this. And I was like, wait a minute, I know Gilead. They're the ones that make remdesivir that saved everybody's life during the medical intervention. But turns out that's not actually what happened if you look into it a little bit and hear firsthand testimony from the people that went to the hospital with the alleged bat cough. That's nothing what happened, but they have this liability protection under the PrEP Act that keeps them all well and dandy and able to invest $11 billion in America. So Gilead, look them up. They're not very nice people, to put it lightly here, but I know we can't criticize too much on the YouTube. But they're boasting about it at the White House, and this is not the big win for those that know who and what Gilead is all about.
Yeah, I remember my grad school days, and as a young lad walking the streets of Cambridge and walking by Gilead, which is right there in Cambridge, stone throw away from MIT. Real beautiful, you know.
Listen to this.
Such a wonderful, beautiful part of town there. You know?
Makers of remdesivir, they say the new investments, or I think they call it Volcary or whatever, but it's the same thing. They have different names. They try to trick you, but they're very honest and care about public health. The new investments unveiled on Wednesday will supplement an already planned spending of $21 billion to boost U.S. manufacturing and research and development through 2030, the drug maker Gilead said. So that's awesome. Major U.S. drug makers, including Eli Lilly, Johnson & Johnson, Merck, and Bristol Myers Squibb, have also recently announced additional investments to boost domestic production amid tariff threats. So,
oh yeah, it's all the super best friends, yeah.
The super best friends. And a little bit more on public health news, but we're going to do a deeper dive at the end of the show off of the YouTube, because they let the experts that know more than us talk on there and not us. So, but the CNN is reporting White House withdraws another nomination with last minute pivot for U.S. Surgeon General. And so now this new woman has been nominated, Dr. Casey Means. And so some say she's a maha, others say not so much. Any thoughts on Dr. Casey Means as being U.S. Surgeon General?
Oh, I'm sure she is just tantamount to the Lamb of God, and just really, never hurt a fly. Really great person.
Cares more about our health than we do.
Oh man, yeah, you know it. Just there to serve the people, there to keep us all good and healthy.
A humble civil servant. We wouldn't have it any other way. Okay, clearly the Golden Dome. Who the hell is shooting rockets at us anyway? Nobody. If it's is this going to intercept a Russian Rezhnik hypersonic missile? I don't think so. Or some freaking intercontinental ballistic missile? I don't think so. But the pumping of money into the military-industrial complex via the Golden Dome project is continuing here, that which Trump has proposed 5 key points. Project likely to exceed GOP funding. The Golden Dome missile shield is set to receive $24.7 million to kick off the initiative. And Trump wants to talk, rightfully so, he wants to talk shit about California high-speed rail. But what about this monstrosity? The next key point, Musk's role draws scrutiny. And so we're seeing this develop, that we are not going to tariff you if you go ahead and sign up for Starlink. And so that is becoming a continuing theme here in the trade wars launched by Trump and Musk. Musk, who is CEO of SpaceX, donated more than $27 million to Trump's 2024 campaign. So as you can see, a worthwhile investment. He's already getting paid back. So there's a conflict of interest here. What will Musk's role be in the Golden Dome? Questions emerge: technology's feasibility. Lawmakers question vulnerability issues, and plan derives from Aardvark Land's Iron Dome project. What do you make of the Golden Dome? Are we going to be safe from the hypersonic intercontinental ballistic missiles now?
Whose dome? Your dome. Whose berg? Your berg. Very. Seven C's, all the great works. Great work that gentleman has done to piece together a lot of the their relationships and, super best friends again, of how all these guys tie together with the AI kind of consortium, how they're all just wonderful, wonderful friends, all working together,
for the betterment of humanity. Okay, let's take the live commercial break. Everybody go to weaponizednews.com. Get yourself some stickers. The holograph sticker here. Every day's Pride Day at Weaponized News. The rainbow. If you put it in the light a certain way, you can get all the colors of the rainbow on your holograph sticker. The white background sticker, and we have a clear background sticker as well at weaponizednews.com. Let me play quickly a advertisement from our sponsor, and we'll be right back here with Bill Gates saying that Elon Musk wants to kill poor children.
Running a small business feeling overwhelmed by numbers and paperwork? Abazaba Enterprises has your back. Our expert business solutions include accounting, QuickBooks support, payroll, taxes, and top-notch consulting. Let us handle the details so you can focus on growing your business. Business Solutions Accounting, QuickBooks, Consulting, Payroll, Taxes. Call 559-577-9250. Call Abazaba Enterprises today at 559-577-9250.
And we're back. Bill Gates had an interview with the Financial Times, and it turns out that he's accusing Elon Musk of killing poor children in the third world.
Just one bit, real quick. Why would anybody ever go to H&R Block or any of these, big corporate monsters when you can go to your small business, American can be, Abazaba Enterprises, to do your taxes, get your work done? Sam is a professional. If you need to have your taxes done, why would you go to H&R Block or any of these Abazaba Enterprises, ladies and gentlemen?
Thank you. Okay, Bill Gates goes nuclear on Elon Musk, the world's richest man killing the world's poorest children. That's a quote from his interview with the Financial Times. Quite horrific. I thought Elon Musk was the good guy, but apparently our former doctor, Bill Gates, is telling us that he's actually killing the world's poorest children. And Bill Gates may be upset because that was his job, but apparently he lost his job now with the new Trump administration. Shocking.
Oh, no.
No, he gets his job.
No. Bill Gates and Musk. These guys.
They're not. They're not enemies.
No, they're definitely. I've already said it a couple times today. These guys just pretend. They're super best friends, quality level guys, Come on, man.
Gates expressed his disgust with Musk's role in shuttering USAID.
Just public for the birds, He
went on to say the picture of the world's richest man killing the world's poorest children is not a pretty one, as he's holding a syringe to some little black kid in Africa, right? Those pictures of Bill Gates are all over the interwebs. In some places, they actually attack the miracle givers. But hey, what do I know? Love for him must to go in and meet the children that have now been infected with HIV because of his cuts.
Well, you know what they say. It's keep your friends close, but keep your frenemies, friends posing as enemies, closer. And yeah.
One more quote from this interview. that our former Dr. Bill Gates gave. He said it's really insane that Musk, can destabilize the political situations in countries. I think in the U.S., foreigners aren't allowed to give money. Other countries maybe should adopt safeguards to make sure super rich foreigners aren't distorting their elections. I heard that from Blue Anon that Elon Musk hacked the 2024 election. Bill Gates pledges his remaining fortune to the Gates Foundation, which will close in 20 years. He says he's giving all his ill-gotten gains back to the people. Bill Gates says he will donate 99% of his remaining tech fortune to the Gates Foundation, which will now close in 2045, earlier than previously planned.
Oh, very sad. Yeah,
I know. Today, so isn't he essentially killing poor children by not continuing his philanthropy work after his death? According to his logic.
Yeah. Well, again, this man, wonderful man, Bill Gates, who just wants to help. Always, he's there. Everything he does is to help you. He wants to help you.
He's a philanthropist. He's basically the tech Jesus.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. No. Him and Musk. Yeah. They're frenemies. I want you to know that Bill Gates and all the work he does. Hey, did you know? This is a public service announcement. Bluetooth, which is kind of the backbone, which is part of tying in all of your smart devices, from your light bulbs, your smart bulbs, your smartphones,
the Internet of Things.
Yeah, the Internet of Things. But Bluetooth is very, very important. And you look at that patent, that is a Microsoft patent, ladies and gentlemen. See, Microsoft, what they do as, the government and window into your life that they are.
Let's hear now from the tech Jesus Bill Gates. In this is a CBS interview, not the same as the Financial Times interview, but we did have some Bill Gates saving the world today news about giving away all of his fortune.
What's it been like working with the Trump administration? I know you recently had dinner with the president. Did anything come out of that?
Yeah, so I talked to him about work on HIV and the great innovations. And so, it was a great discussion. Since then, some of the programs have been cut off. And I'm hoping both with the president or the Congress to get them to restore some of those aid activities.
If they don't, is the Gates Foundation large enough to take the place of what the government had been doing?
No. So their money for global health was 4 times what the Gates Foundation
So if this
gives.
money goes away, and you were talking about millions of lives saved, can you put a number on the lives potentially lost?
Yeah, absolutely. So we should be going from 5 million children dying a year over the next 5 years to 4 million. And now with these cuts, if they're not reversed, we'll go to over 6 million dying. So instead of going down, we'll go back up.
Wow. So it's a difference of 2 million lives.
I like how he just throws around millions of lives. Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, Bill Gates, he's one of those guys who just wants to help humanity. Furthermore, a man such as Bill Gates, who has such a strong diaphragm, speaking in the way that he does, how can you not trust that guy? I mean, come on.
That's why he was my doctor until he cheated on his wife.
How can you not trust Bill Gates? Who doesn't trust Bill Gates, man? Come on.
Very trustworthy.
Exactly. Totally.
Okay, on to this is kind of creepy. The Beijing will host the 2025 World Humanoid Robot Games from April 15th to the 17th. City officials announced yesterday, marking a new milestone in the integration of robotics in real-world settings. What events do you think will be included? Let's watch this short clip from the robot games coming out of Beijing, China.
举办人形机器人运动会，旨在通过机器人的多种竞技赛项，集中展示、检验机器人最新成果，持续带动机器人的机械结构、人工智能、大模型、光学、传感、材料等多学科的技术进步。
Isn't this little guy pretty cute? And you could just forget about the whole controversy of transgender athletes playing against alleged females. We're all going to be replaced by these humanoid robots, so you don't even have to worry about that whole canard that they've created. And isn't this little guy so cute? He's probably strapped with a freaking nuclear bomb. But okay. So you're looking forward to the robot games coming up here? Humanoid robot games.
Totally. Absolutely. And let's not forget. I mean, Bill Gates, he and Microsoft, they were very much early movers and helpers of our super best friends of that China and Bill Gates are. China putting the Microsoft University in China. I forget when that was. Might have been before 2000, right around that time. Technology transfer and all that stuff and all that. But hey, there are enemies, right? There are enemies. We didn't have our currency directly, very much China's pegged currency directly to the United States and all these guys, man.
But they're the communist Chinese, we're told.
Yeah. Good buddies.
Okay, on to, so I'm looking very much forward to the humanoid robot games where we could finally put the whole transgender in sports issue to rest, where there will be no more humans of any kind in any of this stuff, and it'll just be all humanoid robots, and then all of this controversy can be put to rest, thankfully. Okay, what is going on in Pakistan, India? It seems to be escalating. Yesterday, it was being reported that Pakistan shot down 5 Indian jets. Now today, it's being reported Pakistan shoots down 25 Indian drones and kills 50 troops. So it appears things are escalating here in the Pakistan India, but that's your mainstream hyping fear reporting. And then, but we have a video of India opening that dam that they closed like a week ago and allowing water to go ahead and flow into the Jumma and Kashmir, Pakistan areas where they were cutting off the water. So we're getting like conflicting reports. Are they trying to flood them? Why would they be letting the water out? Amid the reports of them shooting down drones and killing troops. I don't know. What do you think of this situation?
Well, of course, very, very sad that all of these wars that we see, whether if it's, what we're looking at, looking at directly in this situation or elsewhere, what it is enabling, I would suggest this is enabling every nation to really get their priorities straight so they can raise all their budgets for all of these wonderful wars, right? Hey, they gotta raise their budgets. They have to raise all their budgets, get their priorities straight, build out the technological control grid, and when they have these lockstep wars, hey.
Anything for public safety and public health, as we've learned over the last few years here now. Conflicting reports again. Pakistan hails role of Chinese jets in repelling Indian strikes. And so they're happy with their Chinese J-10C jets, according to a report out of Bloomberg. So you think this is all just hyped up to fund the military industrial complex? Potentially so.
I'm of the opinion they're all working together. And the premise that
we already have one world government behind the scenes, essentially.
Well, the premise is that, hear me out, following something similar to what Mr. Seven sees, and kind of building upon what he says, but all these nations, they pretend to be enemies. What these are frenemies, super best friend frenemies. And
I believe all these leaders are all in the same occult secret societies at the top.
I believe
that's the only way that you could even get into that position is to be in one of these secret society groups.
Yeah. But anyway, China has the system. China has their system. Every other nation wants, right? China wants their system. And the United States, every other nation wants what China has. Wants the ability with their everything that it has to do with their control grid, how they've so successfully managed to, they
pretty much already have scientific dictatorship.
They do.
Technocracy fully implemented there.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we want here. And that's what every nation wants.
Bill Gates doesn't want it, but everybody else does.
No. Bill Gates.
He wants it too?
Bill Gates put, like I said, he built the Microsoft University in China. I mean, this guy.
And now he's essentially the backbone, or his company, of the technocracy.
Yeah, man. All of the phones that are being built, they're all using. It's.
So it was the right decision to drop him as my doctor. Then you're saying.
Well. Say.
Okay, talk about more about the technocracy, the technocratic bro oligarchs. Zuckerberg, I'm very disappointed in this. Meta blocks access to Muslim news in India amidst the ongoing tensions there. Meta has banned a prominent Muslim news page on Instagram in India at the government's request. But I thought there was new freedom and all that stuff at Meta, Facebook, Instagram. And now we're getting this report. I'm disappointed in Mr. Zuckerberg. Now I'm disappointed in my heroes, Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg. Today's a big letdown for me, honestly, here, Denver.
Well, they all work together.
Here's another one working. Let's hear. Well, it's kind of a long video. I guess we won't play it. But on commemoration of defeating the Nazis allegedly in World War II, on this day in 1945, old Zelensky put out a video. He says, "We commemorate the Day of Remembrance and Victory over Nazism in World War II." It's like a 7-minute video. We won't play it for you because it's in Russian or Ukrainian or whatever language this guy speaks. But I thought they are still Nazis there in the Ukraine. In the part of their brigades are actually still Nazis, and that was openly reported in the mainstream as late back as like 2019, all over the place. They may have scrubbed it off the internet, but I know because I searched it up and found a bunch of mainstream reports all about it, how they're a bunch of Nazis over there. They're the main ones that were attacking the Donbass and that whole stretch of land right there, the first contested area, are literal neo-Nazis with swastikas.
Yeah.
So do we believe that Zelensky's genuine in his celebration of Remembrance Day and victory over Nazism during World War II? I kind of find it disingenuous considering the Azov battalion and others under his command for the war with Russia.
Hey, Zelensky and Zelensky has been a wonderful front man. He's been a wonderful front man. Him and Badoliak.
He's a literal comedian. It's like the simulation or whatever you want to call it, or just literal mockery, because we have a reality TV show, Trump Apprentice, as our president. But this guy,
look at that guy. He's always the same shirt, always the same green shirt.
But he played, I don't think I'll ever get over this mockery. He played a comedian on a television show in Ukraine that was the president that was cleaning up corruption in the corrupt government. And then he literally becomes president of the corrupt government, but he left out the part about cleaning up the corruption.
Yeah. Hey, man, we need to continue this Ukrainian war. We need to send all our money. The West needs to send all of their weapons to Ukraine. I mean, all that it. I mean, what are the agreements? It's like 100-year agreements.
They're talking shit here in the chat. They say if Dimmer cleaned himself up a little bit, he could play Zelensky body double.
Could I? Could I? Yeah. Hey, Badoliak.
Zelensky speaks to new German Chancellor Merz, says he counts on Germany for weapons and rebuilding. So see, you're getting your wish there from Germany, not Nazis anymore. So yeah. Here's what Trump had to say about. Trump says it would be a natural thing to ask China to jump in there in negotiations because we're not having any luck in the Russia-Ukraine peace negotiations. So it's just a short clip from Trump.
Mr. President, will you be asking China to help you close, the gap between Ukraine and Russia?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's a natural thing to ask.
What do you expect?
Sure. I don't know. I think we're making good progress. The fighting is a little bit different than it was. I think if we weren't involved, Russia would be, going at it to maybe get the whole thing. And without our involvement, they'd be able to get it because we supplied a lot of different things foolishly. But we've been sort of paid back by doing the rare earth deal that I talked about before. I think that, I think that we will be very much involved in trying to get that bloodbath. It's a bloodbath. It's a horrible situation.
So
Ukraine's now his war. Ukraine's now his war. Ukraine's going to continue. And
it speaks to the idea that they are all in it together. Where the hell China coming into this? You know what I mean? Because they're best buddies with Russia. But that does speak to the idea that they all are all in it together.
I mean, for all we know, all that money we're sending to Ukraine, they're just building out Belt and Road more. I mean, Ukraine is part of the Belt and Road. They're one of the Belt and Road nations. They are BRI. And they had a whole bunch of old stuff, a whole bunch of old infrastructure that needed to get blown up and rebuilt.
And hey, at least international banker company BlackRock is going to get big rebuilding contracts there. So that's going to help, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it's all good.
I mean, the unfortunate bit is that they're trading many cohorts, all their men, all their young men are being sacrificed.
Yeah, essentially is out of there.
Being sacrificed. They're being sacrificed. Zelensky is the front man, trading blood for money. Whole age cohorts gone. Men gone. And it doesn't have to happen. Shouldn't have happened. And Trump, instead of pulling us out of there as he promised, I'm going to end the day on day one. I'm going to end that war on day one.
24 hours, it'll be over.
24 hours. Listen to me. Listen to me. Elect me. I'll end it in 24 hours. Yeah. How's that going?
Here's more of Putin and Z meeting up at the Kremlin today. We got video of it. They're the bestest of friends. They want us to know.
Pooh Bear.
That brought a tear to my eye almost, Denver.
Man, I mean, Putin, he's a dangerous man, but he's like shorter than everybody.
He is. Is he shrinking? Is that even Putin or just a guy wearing a Putin mask? I don't know. Something's going on here. But yeah, all these other world leaders go up to him and he's like, what, 5 foot nothing.
Yeah.
Either they're really tall or he's really short. Something's going on here.
I think he's really short. I want to say he's not even 6 feet tall.
I'd say he's like 5'6" or something, according to these videos that we're seeing come. Maduro, yesterday we played the clip of Maduro.
Maduro's a foot tall, like foot and a half taller than him.
Like a giant, like that 7 foot. What was it? I forget the guy's name. Mao Ying, the 7 foot basketball player, Chinese guy. He was like 7'6" or something. Big old giant guy. Remember that guy?
Yao Ming.
Yao Ming. There you go.
Yeah,
that's the guy. That they kind of look like that. But here's, of course, the image of the thumbnail. And so, yeah, so you believe, and I'm believing it too, that they're the opposition building up all this system, but at the same time, this is actually the new system, the BRICS, the Belt and Road Initiative, and so on, to go ahead and, as U.S. is pulling back, we're allowing them to take over and build the new world order, or a new just world order, and it will smoothly transition with America taking up the rear because they already have all of their enslavement grid built, and they're going to go ahead and just build it out to the rest of the world, all the time playing nice, and we're the good guys and hate on imperial America, the hegemon, which I don't blame, honestly, because we've been real assholes all over the world since World War II, at least.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so we've set ourselves up to be in the position of the bad guy here now, according to the rest of the world, or at like 85% of it.
Yeah.
It looks like that is the play here at work, when the whole time we're all working together, or not we all, but the quote leaders of these alleged sovereign nation states are all working together behind the scenes to complete the one world government agenda.
And if the world technocrats, your super capitalist, your corporate state, if they want to lead the world where they want it to go, the way I've been phrasing it is you need a protagonist and an antagonist. In the United States and the Pax Americana is the antagonist, just as Pax Britannica was the antagonist that gave way to Pax Americana, Pax Britannica fading into Pax Americana. We are now looking at these. I mean, what do you think they were talking about at all these meetings that they go to at WEF and everywhere else? They are talking about the transition of the world from Pax Americana to Pax Eurasia. And I think the Belt and Road, where you have Israel sitting right at the center, and the submarine cable lines, if you pull up a map and look at the lines, the submarine lines, the submarine cable lines, it's like 20% of all of the internet traffic traverses these cable lines, which all meet in a nexus, like right there in the Red Sea at the tip of Egypt in Sinai. And that's part of several of the Silk Roads, the new Silk Roads that China has built. The medical Silk Road, the financial Silk Road. I think I forget how many there are. I can't name them off the top of my head.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that.
And what are we looking at right here? If we can zoom in to our favorite area here.
Yeah.
Zoom right in here.
look at if we can find
right here.
Like you'll have Dubai. You'll have Dubai here somewhere, and I think that's
Wow, that's something to take more of a look at.
If you can find Egypt, right? Yeah, that's the big one. That's the big. This
right
is, yeah, this is a major strategic target at the tip of Sinai because that's a major nexus for all of the traffic there, and it connects the east and the west right there.
Yeah, you could see all the different. Yeah,
they all converge right there.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah, dude.
We'll have to keep an eye on that. Let's hear from Putin saying we're seeing a new just world order take place behind the United Nations. Let's hear from Putin, the most evil man in the world, YouTube. We hate him.
Today we're seeing a new, more just world order take shape. And the meaning behind the United Nations is important as ever. We must strengthen its coordinating role, making it central in global affairs, achieving and maintaining the principles and standards enshrined in its UN Charter in all their interrelatedness.
Yeah. It's interesting to see and look at just what's forming in terms of the multilateral agreements between all these nations. And the United States is just kind of the one, like, seemingly kind of stirring shit up. You know? Yeah, the United States is enabling Israel.
Like you said, we're the protagonist on purpose.
We're the antagonist on purpose.
Antagonist.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's
our role.
That's our role. And it's a coordinated strategy of tension. And I'm not sure what the real play is, what their intent is aside from greater control. You know, I don't want to be a skeptic and be like, they just want to make everybody slaves, but shit, I'm not sure if that, I mean, could be. I hope not.
Okay, on to the Aardvark land news. I don't know what to make of this. Iran has put out a propaganda video targeting American assets over there in their part of the world. Let's take a look at this provocative video. Again, it looks like they're all working together behind the scenes. Of course, that part's fake, but it's real that the citizens of these countries will die in their wars.
That's right. If it's all controlled, it's not a war, it's a ritual.
So that's a propaganda video coming out of Iran insinuating that they have U.S. military assets in their crosshairs in the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. And our planes keep falling off ships into the ocean.
Yeah, that almost seems just like there's got to be something going on there.
Something's going on, right? And they just say, "Oh yeah, it was just an honest accident." Really?
No, that's not possible. That's not
It
possible.
does seem like
those ships can't even turn fast enough for a ship to fall off.
Right. And they're so giant, a big wave is not going to phase them.
That's right.
They're built for open sea travel. That's like what they're built for, to not be disrupted by the ocean.
Yeah. So they're just openly lying. Like a missile hits a ship, a plane or whatever, and they're just like, well, just push it off into the ocean. We'll say it just fell off. I mean, is that literally where we're at?
Apparently, yeah. Okay, so the NBC News is reporting Trump operation against Houthis cost more than $1 billion. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why we stopped it. But the President Trump's fight against the Houthis never dealt a crippling blow to the militant group, but it has cost America, taxpayers, more than $1 billion since March, including the thousands of bombs and missiles used in strikes, along with 7 drones shot down and 2 fighter jets that sank, according to U.S. officials briefed on the cost.
Jeez.
$1 billion is really not that much, right? If we're going, I mean, they're terrorists, right? And so, I mean,
no, $1 billion relative to what has been spent in Ukraine thus far.
Like, yeah, literally nothing, right?
Yeah, we spent like $350 million or billion, 350 billion there. Beat with a B is what the estimate is. I don't know if that's correct or not. That's like an estimate that, Trump said. So it's like, it's questionable.
Well, anything the government says is questionable. Okay. So apparently we're done. Trump announced we're done with the bombing of the Houthis there in Yemen.
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
I'll cheer. I'll cheer for that.
But I'm building up here to build a narrative. Houthis have released a propaganda video today where they say that this is a warning to Aardvark land that its airports are now unsafe. And so let's watch this as they're the Houthis in Yemen are threatening Aardvark land again over the genocide they're committing there in Gaza.
ردا على التصعيد الإسرائيلي بقرار توسيع العمليات العدوانية على غزة، تعلن القوات المسلحة اليمنية أنها ستعمل على فرض حصار جوي شامل على العدو الإسرائيلي.
Feels like they're emboldened. Looks like we lost Denver there for a second. I'll bring them back when I can see them on my screen here. You had to let the cat out of the bag. But continuing, Aardvark land vows to defend ourselves alone after Trump strikes truce with Houthis. And so what do we make of this, Denver? Trump strike the truce with the Houthis, no longer defending Aardvarks. What do we make of this?
I mean, I'll cheer for it. If there's been a peace made, I'll cheer for it. But Israel vows to defend alone after Trump strikes truce with Houthis. I'd have to read the story to figure out exactly the situation. I had to run and go grab a drink real quick. I'm sorry.
That ties into this report Trump has reportedly decided to cut ties with Netanyahu, says Bibi acts arrogant and tries to push him around. According to Aardvark Media, Trump's team reportedly told Aardvark Minister Ron Dermer that the president feels disrespected and manipulated, and nothing enrages him more than looking like a pushover in public.
Yeah,
do we believe this report?
I hope it's right. I don't know if it is. I hope it's true.
I hope it's true too, but I have my serious doubts about it.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
With him kissing the wall, saying he's the king of Aardvark land, and on it they made Trumpville, and it just goes on and on and on. The 200 whatever million that he got from Adelson's wife, Miriam Adelson, his son-in-law Kushner, part of the Greater Aardvark Land Project, and it just goes on and on and on and on. So it's kind of hard to believe that he's actually cut, maybe with Bibi personally, but definitely not with Aardvark Land as a whole. There's just too many connections there. It's too deep.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying?
I saw a post today by Nicole Shanahan that was calling out some really, really crazy shit about RFK Jr. being manipulated.
Really?
Yeah. He's being manipulated by somebody, and I guarantee you it's whoever his Israeli handler is.
That's Shmuley, right? Rabbi Shmuley?
But it's somebody other than Shmuley. Shmuley's too fucking visible.
Well, he did admit that he flew on Epstein's plane. Mm-hmm. And he's admitted womanizer too. So I mean, who knows? They could pull out how many different claims of wrongdoings against women that he's done.
Sure.
At any time for sure. And there probably a lot of them are legitimate. I wouldn't doubt.
I mean, if you got a history of doing heroin and a bunch of fucking weird women, you're gonna have some history.
I would say so. And he may not even know what blackmail they have on him.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to look up that shenanigans. Okay, Aardvark Land closes 6 UN schools for Palestinians in East Jerusalem today. That's being reported by the AP, and so that's good of them. They care about the children's education there. I guess better than blowing them up.
Totally.
So Aardvark Land permanently closed 6 UN schools in East Jerusalem today, forcing Palestinian students to leave early and throwing the education of more than 800 into question. Shocking, right?
Yeah.
A U.S.-backed group seeks to take over Gaza aid distribution in a plan similar to Aardvark Land's. A group of American security contractors, ex-military officers, and humanitarian aid officials are proposing to take over distribution of food and other supplies in Gaza based on plans similar to ones designed by Aardvark Land. So basically Aardvark Land plans, according to the Associated Press.
Yeah. That's been the game plan so far, and it hasn't worked yet. So they're like, let's try it one more time. It's just kind of a sad situation.
A proposal for the newly created group, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Well, they have humanitarian in their foundation's name. So, I mean, that means they're humanitarians to implement a new aid distribution system supplanting the current one run by the UN and other international aid agencies, because those are all Hamas, UNRWA is Hamas, essentially, as we've learned. It was not immediately clear if the proposal from the new group, which registered in Geneva, would ease the concerns of the blockade of food, water, and medicine, and fuel and energy, which has lasted more than 10 weeks now into Gaza, causing a humanitarian crisis for the 2 million plus Palestinians living in that open air prison camp. UN officials said last week that Aardvark Land's plans to weaponize aid by placing restrictions on those eligible to receive it. Now it's being reported that Aardvark land will monitor the aid, allowing those they deem fit to receive food and water being allowed to have it, and the rest are terrorists, I guess, so they're not allowed to have food or water there in the Gaza.
That's crazy.
Oh, it's pretty crazy, man. Our friend and your friend and mine, Christian Zionist ambassador to Aardvark land, Mike Hubby, he says when asked about why we are not bombing the hell out of the Houthis, I don't think that's what they said, but U.S. ambassador to Aardvark land defends American truce. Well, I'm shocked by that, actually, with the Houthis saying they don't need permission from Tel Aviv. There's 700,000 Americans living in Aardvark land. If the Houthis want to continue doing things Aardvark land, they hurt an American, then it becomes our business. Really? That's this guy. It's their choice to live there, right? So move.
Fucking Mike Huckabee is such a cuck.
He's such a freaking. This guy makes me want to throw up. So
yeah.
So with the 600,000 Americans living in Aardvark land, if something happens to them, it's our responsibility over here to go take care of it. Apparently, that's what he's claiming.
Oh, hopefully nobody listens to that asshole, because he's not credible. I mean, he's got a position, but he's not credible. You know,
he's a religious extremist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like literally,
he's a religious fanatic on par with any other, with your radical jihadist terrorists.
That's right.
And
he's calling for blood, essentially. Mm-hmm. He's like, let's go kill some people.
Mm-hmm. Let's see a flashback here now, video of former MI6 agent, are you ever former? Annie McCann details how the Mossad set up false flags and bombed the Aardvark embassy in London in 1994 and got two prominent Palestinian activists to take the blame, and they both received 20-year prison sentences for their crime. Let's watch this clip.
But the two cases that really got us, first of all, there was a false flag attack in London in 1994, where a car bomb exploded outside the Israeli embassy in the center of London.
Now, I remember this vaguely. This is, we're talking 14 years ago.
It's a long time ago.
But it was huge at the time. I mean, it was a huge worldwide story.
Yeah. In fact, there'd been an earlier attack against some Jewish interest section in Buenos Aires earlier that year as well. Similar sort of MO, modus operandi, with a car bomb driven and parked outside that exploded. Very minor injuries, that was all. Okay. Nobody was killed. And it was a very sophisticated device. It appeared to eat itself, eat all the forensics. Now, this is very, very rare. Even the IRA, which is a very sophisticated terrorist organization, could not make bombs that effective. So it looked like a sort of fairly technical person had put that together. But what emerged from that, the senior MI5 officer who was in charge of the investigation into it and had seen all the evidence but also all the intelligence, which isn't necessarily admissible in court, wrote his formal assessment at the end of the case. And he said he reckoned that Mossad, the Israeli External Intelligence Agency, had bombed their own embassy. A sort of controlled explosion outside the embassy. And as I said, that was a senior MI5 officer. That was his formal verdict. If you read that on the internet now, you would say that sounds like some mad conspiracy theory. But it wasn't. This was the official position of MI5. And he said that they did it for two reasons. One, they were always hassling MI5 for increased security around their embassy and other interests in London. Because, of course, London had a reputation of giving safe haven to Arab dissidents from around the world at that point. And MI5 kept saying, well, there's no reason to increase the threat assessment. You don't need extra protection. So letting off a controlled explosion outside, of course, they immediately got what they wanted there. But crucially, two innocent Palestinians were arrested, charged and convicted of conspiracy to cause that attack. And they were very active in a Palestinian support network in London, political campaigning for the people on the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. And they were gaining some traction in the media. They were getting quite a lot of support. So by arresting these people and framing them for an attack and sticking them in prison, the whole network just shattered and hasn't got back on its feet to this day.
Damn.
Wow. I see Highlands talking shit here in the comments. He says, Yemen is the poorest country in the world and they kicked your butt.
He's right.
No, we're peaceniks now. Trump stops every war. He's a peace candidate. And that's why he stopped how many bombs did I say we dropped on him? It's still, where was that report? NBC says how many? Including thousands of bombs and missiles used, and they kicked our butt. Oh, man.
Yeah.
We can't even defeat Yemen in a war, and we're going to take on Russia and China.
If we just try to take on Iran, I'm afraid we would get beat.
Damn, man. We can't even beat Iran. We can't even beat Yemen, the poorest country in the world.
Well, Iran has incredible missile and surface-to-air missile defense systems. So, and we're a military that generally does aerial bombardment before any, ground incursion.
They're going to shoot missiles from the aircraft carriers and the destroyers and all the Navy.
Yeah.
And then soften them up and then go in there with the, bombers after that.
And then a ground force.
And then a ground force, something like this, and throw in some drones and probably some robots now. But yeah, we couldn't even defeat Iran, huh? Damn it. Well, we definitely can't defeat Russia in Ukraine.
No. We can't beat Russia, and we can't beat China with the current military strategies that we have employed in the history of our military.
Well, we couldn't even defeat Iraq, right? When's the last war we allegedly?
Well, it's the nature of these conflicts because
we're on their land too. I think that's a big.
We're on their land, and we're fighting people who aren't traditional soldiers. We're fighting people who are defending their homelands.
Guerrillas, kind of like the American Revolutionary War.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you go to their land, and you want to occupy it. Then some guy with a stick and a stone with nothing to lose is more likely to win, as we've seen here in Iraq, Afghanistan, Yemen, and so on and so on. Vietnam, we didn't win Vietnam, we bombed the hell out of everything, but we still didn't beat them. And you can't beat the ideology either. Allegedly, we're in the war on terror. You can't beat an idea. You can't. Ideas are bulletproof, so you can't kill the idea of resisting the U.S. Hegemony.
That's right.
Right. So it's all futile. But that's a great point there, and we do appreciate the mockery by Highland. Oh man. All right, Denver, I think that's all we got. Unless we gotta sign off and go to the medical reporting now. Okay,
yeah.
We're signing off of our YouTube reporting because we're not the experts and they know better than us, and the World Health Organization's great and we follow all their recommendations, but we got to sign off now. For more weaponized news on Rumble. If you're on YouTube, go to Rumble, Odysee, X, Facebook. We're not from India, so we're not Muslims, so don't block our news over there on the Facebook feed. Zuckerberg's a bro. We forgive him for all the censorship, selling our data, and profiling us. Okay, we're off of YouTube. Go over to the other channel, and we're going to get into this medical reporting. Go over to Rumble, and the other channel's closing out.